Ladies and gentlemen, it's time we have a heart-to-heart about something that has stolen more dreams than failure ever will: procrastination. It's that silent thief that creeps into our minds, convincing us there's always more time, always tomorrow, always another chance. But today I'm here to tell you, enough is enough. Procrastination is a silent thief. It steals your time, your dreams, and your potential without you even noticing. Every day people put off what they know they should do, assuming that they have endless tomorrows. But the truth is, time is finite, and the cost of delaying can be devastating. When you procrastinate, you are not just postponing an action, you are postponing your destiny. You are delaying the fulfillment of your potential. And in doing so, you are robbing yourself of the opportunity to live a life of purpose and meaning. Think about the dreams and goals you have had for years. Maybe it's a business you've always wanted to start, a skill you've been meaning to learn, or a passion you've been waiting to pursue. How long have you been putting it off? How many times have you told yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, only to watch that tomorrow turn into next week, next month, or even next year? Every time you delay, you are pushing that dream further and further away, making it harder to reach. What could you have achieved by now if you had taken action when you first had the idea? What opportunities have passed you by because you were waiting for the right time? The cost of delaying is not always obvious at first. It creeps in slowly like a shadow. You may not feel the impact immediately, but over time, the consequences begin to build. Every day you put off taking action is a day you lose momentum. It's a day you could have used to move closer to your goals, but instead you stayed in the same place. And the longer you delay, the harder it becomes to start. Procrastination creates inertia, and inertia is a powerful force. The more you delay, the more comfortable you become with doing nothing. It becomes your new normal. But the cost of procrastination goes beyond just losing time. It affects your mental and emotional well-being. When you know deep down that you are not living up to your potential, it creates a sense of unease, a feeling that something is missing. This can lead to stress, anxiety, and even depression. You begin to doubt yourself, questioning whether you are capable of achieving your goals at all. Procrastination erodes your self-confidence, making it even harder to take action in the future. It's a vicious cycle that can be difficult to break. Moreover, procrastination often leads to missed opportunities. Life is full of windows of opportunity, but those windows don't stay open forever. When you delay, you risk losing out on these opportunities altogether. Someone else may step in and take the chance you hesitated on. The market may shift, trends may change, and the timing that was once perfect may no longer be favorable. Every time you delay, you are gambling with your future. You are betting that the opportunity will still be there when you're finally ready, but that's not always the case. In addition to missed opportunities, procrastination also costs you relationships. When you continuously delay the important conversations you need to have, the apologies you need to make, or the time you need to spend with loved ones, you risk damaging those connections. People may perceive your procrastination as disinterest or neglect, and over time, relationships can deteriorate. The cost of delaying is not just professional, it is personal as well. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to repair the damage. Procrastination also affects your personal growth. Growth happens when you push yourself out of your comfort zone and take on new challenges. But when you delay, you are choosing to stay in your comfort zone. You are avoiding the discomfort of growth, and in doing so, you stunt your development. The person you are today is not the person you are meant to be. You have untapped potential, but that potential will remain unrealized as long as you continue to procrastinate. The cost of delaying is a lifetime of mediocrity when you are capable of greatness. Furthermore, procrastination has a financial cost. Many of the opportunities you delay taking action on have the potential to generate income or create wealth, but by delaying, you are missing out on financial gains. You may be putting off starting that side business or investing in that opportunity because you think you'll have time later. But every day you wait is a day you could have been earning. Compound interest doesn't just apply to money, it applies to effort as well. The earlier you start, the greater the returns. The cost of delaying is not just lost time, it's lost money. In the workplace, procrastination can cost you career advancement. When you delay completing tasks or taking on new responsibilities, you signal to your employer that you are not reliable or ambitious. Opportunities for promotions or raises may pass you by because you are not seen as someone who takes initiative. In today's fast-paced world, employers value those who act quickly and decisively. The longer you procrastinate, the more likely it is that someone else will step in and take the opportunities meant for you. The cost of delaying also impacts your health. Many people put off taking care of their health, telling themselves they'll start exercising next week or eat better after the holidays. But the longer you wait to take care of your body, the harder it becomes to reverse the damage. Procrastination in this area can lead to long-term health problems that could have been prevented with early action. The cost of delaying is not just lost time or opportunities, it can be the loss of your well-being. Even spiritually, procrastination has a cost. When you delay acting on the promptings of your heart, when you ignore the inner voice urging you to move in a certain direction, you are delaying your spiritual growth. You are putting off the journey that will lead you to fulfillment and purpose. The cost of delaying is a life lived out of alignment with your higher calling. You were not created to live a life of complacency, but every time you procrastinate, you are choosing comfort over purpose. Taking responsibility for your time is one of the most important steps toward achieving your goals and fulfilling your potential. Time is the most valuable resource you possess, yet it is often the most neglected. Every second, minute, and hour is a gift, but how often do we treat it as such? Most people treat time as though it is endless, as though they can afford to waste it. But the reality is that time is finite. Once it's gone, you can never get it back. The first step to taking responsibility for your time is recognizing its true value. Many people go through life unaware of how much time they are wasting. They engage in activities that add no value to their lives, spending hours scrolling through social media, watching television, or engaging in meaningless conversations. While relaxation and leisure have their place, the problem arises when they become a way to avoid the work that needs to be done. You have to understand that every minute you spend procrastinating or engaging in distractions is a minute you could have spent moving closer to your goals. Taking responsibility for your time means becoming conscious of how you spend every moment. One of the greatest challenges in taking responsibility for your time is understanding that no one else is responsible for how you use it. It's easy to blame external factors, your job, your family, your circumstances, for why you don't have enough time. But the truth is, every person on this planet has the same 24 hours in a day. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not isn't the amount of time they have, but how they use it. If you want to achieve great things, you must stop blaming others for your lack of time and start taking ownership of how you spend it. Time management is not just about organizing your schedule or using fancy apps to track your productivity. It's about making intentional choices about where you invest your time. Every day, you are faced with countless decisions about how to spend your time. Will you spend it working toward your goals, or will you waste it on distractions? Will you invest your time in activities that build your future, or will you spend it doing things that have no lasting value? Taking responsibility for your time means making conscious decisions about where your time goes, because every decision matters. One of the most common reasons people fail to take responsibility for their time is that they don't set clear priorities. When you don't know what's important to you, it's easy to get distracted by things that don't matter. You end up spending time on tasks that are urgent but not important, or on activities that others have imposed on you. To take responsibility for your time, you must get clear on your priorities. What are the things that matter most to you? What are the goals you want to achieve? Once you know your priorities, you can allocate your time accordingly and avoid getting sidetracked by distractions. Another critical aspect of taking responsibility for your time is learning to say no. Many people overcommit themselves because they feel obligated to say yes to every request that comes their way. They don't want to disappoint others, so they agree to tasks and activities that take up valuable time. But every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your priorities, you are saying no to something that does. You are giving away your time to others at the expense of your own goals. Taking responsibility for your time means learning to set boundaries and say no to anything that doesn't serve your purpose. One of the reasons people struggle with time management is that they underestimate the amount of time they waste on unproductive activities. They may think that checking social media for a few minutes won't hurt, or that watching one more episode of their favorite show won't make a difference. But those minutes add up, and before you know it, hours have passed, and you've accomplished nothing. Taking responsibility for your time requires an honest assessment of where your time is going. You need to track how you spend each day and identify the activities that are eating away at your time without contributing to your success. Once you've identified the time-wasting activities in your life, the next step is to eliminate them. This is not always easy because many of these activities are habitual. You may be used to spending your evenings watching TV or scrolling through your phone before bed. But habits can be changed, and taking responsibility for your time means making the effort to replace unproductive habits with productive ones. Instead of spending your free time on activities that provide no value, use that time to work on your goals, read, learn, or do something that will move you closer to your dreams. Another important part of taking responsibility for your time is understanding that time is your most limited resource. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Once a moment has passed, it's gone forever. This is why it's so important to be intentional with how you spend your time. You have to be mindful of the fact that every hour you waste is an hour you will never get back. The key to success is using your time wisely, investing it in activities that bring you closer to your goals, and refusing to waste it on things that don't matter. Taking responsibility for your time also means being accountable to yourself. No one else can manage your time for you. You are the one who has to decide how you spend your days. You are the one who has to hold yourself accountable for the choices you make. This requires a high level of self-discipline. It's easy to let time slip away when no one is watching, but the most successful people are those who can manage their time effectively even when they are their only source of accountability. They have the discipline to stick to their schedules, avoid distractions, and stay focused on their goals. To take responsibility for your time, you must also learn to prioritize long-term goals over short-term gratification. It's tempting to spend your time on things that provide immediate pleasure, like watching TV or going out with friends. But if you want to achieve something significant, you have to be willing to delay gratification. You have to be willing to put in the time and effort now so that you can reap the rewards later. This means making sacrifices in the short term so that you can achieve your long-term goals. Taking responsibility for your time means having the vision to see beyond the present moment and make decisions that align with your future. Taking responsibility for your time is about recognizing that time is life. How you spend your time is how you spend your life. If you waste time, you're wasting your life. If you invest time wisely, you are investing in your future. Every decision you make about how to spend your time is a decision about the kind of life you want to live. Taking responsibility for your time means taking responsibility for your life. It means being intentional, disciplined, and focused on what truly matters, and refusing to let distractions and excuses stand in the way of your success. Shifting from fear to action is one of the most critical steps in transforming your life. Fear, if left unchecked, has the power to paralyze you, keeping you stuck in the same place, unable to move forward. It whispers doubts and insecurities into your mind, convincing you that you are not capable, that you are not ready, or that you will fail. Fear magnifies the obstacles in front of you and minimizes the strength you have within. But here's the truth: the only way to overcome fear is through action. When you take action, you dismantle the power that fear holds over you. Many people live their entire lives bound by fear. They fear failure, rejection, criticism, or even success. This fear keeps them from pursuing their dreams, trying new things, or stepping out of their comfort zones. But the reality is, fear only has the power that you give it. Fear thrives in inaction. The more you allow it to dictate your choices, the stronger it becomes. It builds walls around your potential, trapping you in a cycle of self-doubt and hesitation. If you want to break free from the grip of fear, you must take decisive action, no matter how uncomfortable it may feel. Action is the antidote to fear. The moment you take the first step, fear begins to lose its hold. It's not that the fear disappears entirely, but it diminishes as you build momentum. With every step you take, you gain confidence, and confidence is the enemy of fear. The problem is that most people wait for the fear to go away before they take action. They wait until they feel ready, but that day never comes. Fear doesn't go away on its own. It shrinks in the face of bold, courageous action. The key is to act in spite of fear, not in the absence of it. One of the reasons fear is so paralyzing is that it often stems from a focus on what could go wrong. When you focus on potential failure or the negative outcomes, your fear intensifies. You begin to imagine worst-case scenarios, and these mental images make it harder to take action. But when you shift your focus to the possibilities of success, something remarkable happens. Your fear begins to transform into excitement. What if, instead of thinking about what could go wrong, you ask yourself, what if it all works out? What if this action leads to something great? Shifting your mindset from fear to possibility empowers you to take the leap. Fear thrives in uncertainty. The unknown can feel overwhelming because you don't know what to expect. But here's the thing: life is full of uncertainty. There are no guarantees. If you wait for certainty before you take action, you will be waiting forever. You have to be willing to step into the unknown, trusting that you will figure things out along the way. Action creates clarity. The more you move forward, the more you learn, and the more you grow. Every step you take brings you closer to understanding what works and what doesn't, but you won't gain that clarity if you remain frozen in fear. Often, people overestimate the risk of taking action and underestimate the risk of staying where they are. They convince themselves that taking action is too risky, too difficult, or too uncertain. But what they fail to realize is that inaction is its own form of risk. When you fail to act, you are not just avoiding potential failure, you are also avoiding potential success. You are delaying your dreams, your growth, and your progress. The cost of inaction is far greater than the temporary discomfort of facing your fear. Shifting from fear to action requires recognizing that doing nothing is often the biggest risk of all. Fear has a tendency to exaggerate the obstacles in front of you. It magnifies the challenges and makes them seem insurmountable. But when you take action, you realize that the obstacles are often not as big as you imagined. The first step is always the hardest, but once you take it, you see that the path is not as difficult as fear made it out to be. Action gives you perspective. It allows you to see the situation for what it really is, rather than what fear has made it out to be. Every time you take action, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your fear. Another important aspect of shifting from fear to action is understanding that failure is not the enemy. Fear often stems from the desire to avoid failure at all costs. But failure is not something to be feared, it's something to be embraced. Failure is part of the process of success. Every successful person has failed multiple times, but they didn't let that stop them. They used failure as a learning opportunity, a stepping stone to something greater. When you take action and face the possibility of failure, you are also opening yourself up to the possibility of growth and learning. You cannot achieve success without embracing the risk of failure. Taking action in the face of fear requires courage, but courage is not the absence of fear, it's the willingness to move forward in spite of it. Courage is a choice. It's the decision to act even when you feel afraid. And the more you practice courage, the stronger it becomes. The more you push through fear, the more you realize that fear doesn't have to control you. You become more resilient, more confident, and more capable. Action builds courage, and courage is what enables you to keep moving forward, no matter what challenges or fears you may face. One of the most powerful ways to shift from fear to action is by breaking down the big goal into smaller, manageable steps. Often fear arises because the goal feels too overwhelming. It seems too big, too far away, or too difficult to achieve. But when you break it down into smaller actions, it becomes much more manageable. You don't have to do everything at once, you just need to take the next step. And once you take that step, you take another, then another. Each small action builds momentum, and before you know it, you've made significant progress. Small actions compound over time, and they diminish fear with each step. Another crucial aspect of shifting from fear to action is surrounding yourself with the right people. Fear often thrives in isolation. When you try to face your fears alone, they can feel overwhelming. But when you have a support system of people who believe in you, encourage you, and push you to take action, fear loses its grip. Surround yourself with individuals who challenge you to step out of your comfort zone, who hold you accountable, and who remind you of your potential. The right community can be a powerful catalyst for action, helping you to stay focused and motivated even when fear tries to creep in. Shifting from fear to action requires a shift in identity. You have to stop seeing yourself as someone who is controlled by fear and start seeing yourself as someone who takes bold, decisive action. You are not a victim of your fear, you are in control of your actions. When you change the way you see yourself, you change the way you behave. You start to act in alignment with the person you want to become, rather than the person you've been. Taking action becomes a reflection of your new identity, an identity rooted in courage, confidence, and purpose. Discipline is the cornerstone of success. Without it, even the most talented and gifted individuals will fall short of reaching their potential. Success is not an accident, it is the result of consistent, focused effort over time. Many people dream of achieving great things, but few are willing to put in the disciplined work necessary to turn those dreams into reality. Discipline is not just about working hard, it's about working smart, staying focused, and committing to your goals, no matter the distractions or challenges that come your way. The first step to disciplining yourself for success is setting clear, specific goals. You can't discipline yourself effectively if you don't know where you're going. Goals give you direction and purpose, and they provide a benchmark against which you can measure your progress. When you have a clear goal in mind, it becomes easier to make decisions about how to spend your time and energy. Every action you take should be aligned with that goal. Without a clear target, discipline becomes meaningless because you have nothing to aim for. Once you set your goals, the next step is to develop a plan. Success requires not only discipline but also strategy. You need to break your goals down into actionable steps and create a roadmap for how you will achieve them. This plan should be detailed and realistic, outlining what needs to be done by when and how. Having a plan helps you stay focused and disciplined because it eliminates uncertainty. Instead of wondering what you should be doing, you know exactly what steps to take, and you can hold yourself accountable to completing them. Discipline also requires mastering the art of time management. Time is your most valuable resource, and how you use it determines the level of success you will achieve. Successful people don't waste time, they invest it. They know that every hour is an opportunity to move closer to their goals. This means being intentional about how you spend your time. You need to prioritize tasks that will have the greatest impact on your success and eliminate distractions that pull you away from what really matters. Discipline means guarding your time fiercely, making sure that it is used wisely and productively. Another key component of discipline is consistency. Anyone can be disciplined for a day or two, but true success requires sustained effort over the long term. It's not enough to work hard for a short period and then coast. You have to show up every day, ready to put in the work, even when you don't feel like it. Consistency is what separates those who achieve lasting success from those who experience short-lived victories. Discipline means doing the hard work day in and day out, regardless of how you feel in the moment. Overcoming procrastination is also critical to disciplining yourself for success. Procrastination is one of the biggest enemies of discipline. It's easy to put things off, to tell yourself that you'll get tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into the next day, and the next day turns into next week, and before you know it, you've lost valuable time. Discipline means taking action now, even when it's uncomfortable. It means doing what needs to be done, not what's easy or convenient. When you stop procrastinating and start taking immediate action, you build momentum that will carry you towards success. Discipline also means developing the ability to say no. Success requires focus, and focus requires eliminating distractions. There will always be people, tasks, and opportunities that try to pull you away from your goals. If you say yes to everything, you spread yourself too thin and lose the focus necessary to achieve excellence in any one area. Part of disciplining yourself is learning to set boundaries and say no to anything that does not align with your priorities. This isn't always easy, but it's necessary if you want to stay on track toward your goals. Your mindset plays a crucial role in your ability to discipline yourself for success. If you don't believe in your ability to achieve your goals, it will be difficult to stay disciplined. Discipline requires a strong, positive mindset that is focused on growth and possibility. You need to train your mind to stay focused on your vision, even when things get tough. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and challenges along the way. But discipline means pushing through those difficulties with confidence and resilience. A disciplined mind is one that remains steady in the face of adversity. Self-discipline also requires you to be accountable to yourself. No one is going to make you succeed. It's up to you to hold yourself to a high standard. This means being honest with yourself about your progress and recognizing when you're not living up to your potential. It means setting deadlines for yourself and sticking to them, even when no one else is watching. Self-accountability is one of the most important traits of successful people. They don't need external motivation or validation. They discipline themselves from within, knowing that their success depends on their own actions. Another important aspect of discipline is the willingness to make sacrifices. Success often requires giving up short-term pleasures for long-term gains. You may need to sacrifice leisure time, sleep, or social activities in order to stay focused on your goals. This is not about depriving yourself, but about making conscious choices that prioritize your future success over immediate gratification. Discipline means understanding that the work you put in now will pay off later. It means being willing to make those sacrifices in the present so that you can achieve the success you desire in the future. To discipline yourself for success, you must also cultivate patience. Success rarely happens overnight, and it's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results. But discipline means staying the course, even when progress is slow. It means trusting the process and continuing to put in the work, knowing that success is a marathon, not a sprint. Patience is a form of discipline because it requires you to stay focused and committed, even when it feels like your efforts aren't paying off. Over time, those small, consistent actions will add up to significant achievements. Discipline is about taking responsibility for your own success. No one else is going to do the work for you. No one else is responsible for your achievements or your failures. Discipline means owning your journey and recognizing that your actions or lack thereof determine your outcomes. It means understanding that if you want to achieve success, you have to take control of your habits, your time, and your decisions. In the journey towards success, discipline is the foundation upon which everything is built. It is the thread that weaves together your goals, actions, and mindset, ensuring that you remain focused, committed, and resilient in the face of challenges. Recognizing the cost of delaying, taking full responsibility for your time, shifting from fear to action, and mastering the discipline necessary for success are not just principles but requirements for achieving your highest potential. The path to success is not always easy, but it is paved with the daily decisions you make to stay disciplined. Your future is shaped by the consistent, intentional actions you take today. The time for procrastination is over. It's time to discipline yourself and step fully into the success that awaits you.